Imagine a land in the very heart of Europe, where rivers carved trade routes, fertile plains fed growing cities, and a crown placed on a young ruler's head changed the destiny of an entire people. Around the year 1000, when Stephen was crowned king, Hungary was not just becoming a monarchy, it was stepping into a new identity that would shape centuries of power, culture, and survival. Tribes that once moved freely across the plains began transforming into a structured kingdom with laws, churches, fortified towns, and expanding influence. Christianity connected Hungary to the wider European world, opening doors to alliances, knowledge, and economic exchange. Markets flourished, agriculture strengthened, and settlements grew into cities filled with craftsmen, traders, and scholars. Yet beneath this rising prosperity lay an unspoken truth of history. Every kingdom that rises high becomes a target for forces that wish to test its strength. Hungary's early centuries were not only about building castles and cathedrals, but about preparing, sometimes unknowingly, for storms that would attempt to erase everything it had built.
The 13th century arrived like thunder, and with it came the Mongol invasion, a wave of destruction so fierce that it shook the foundations of the Hungarian kingdom. Entire towns were burned, populations were scattered, and fear replaced the confidence that once filled the plains. For a moment, it seemed as if the dream of a prosperous Hungary might vanish into smoke and ash. But this is where the kingdom revealed its defining trait: resilience. Instead of surrendering to despair, Hungary rebuilt with greater determination. Stone fortresses replaced weaker defenses, military systems were reorganized, and rulers invested heavily in strengthening borders. Trade revived, mines of gold and silver began fueling wealth, and cities once again echoed with the sound of commerce. Agriculture expanded across the fertile lands of the Carpathian Basin, making Hungary one of the most resource-rich regions in Central Europe. Prosperity was not just returning, it was evolving into something stronger and more sophisticated. Yet, as confidence returned and the kingdom expanded its influence, another looming shadow approached from the southeast, one that would test Hungary not for years, but for generations.
The 16th century introduced a challenge unlike any before: the expanding Ottoman Empire. In 1526, the Battle of Mohacs became a turning point that shattered Hungary's unity. The once strong kingdom was divided, its territories pulled between Ottoman control in the center and Habsburg rule in the west and north. Cities that once thrived under a single crown now lived under competing powers, and the dream of uninterrupted prosperity fractured. However, even division could not fully extinguish Hungary's cultural and economic spirit. While wars and occupations reshaped borders, Hungarian identity persisted through language, traditions, and an enduring desire for autonomy. Over time, alliances shifted and resistance movements emerged, slowly pushing back foreign dominance. By the late 17th century, Ottoman control weakened and the Habsburgs consolidated authority, bringing a different kind of stability, one tied to imperial politics but also to renewed infrastructure and economic growth. Roads improved, trade connections widened, and urban life regained energy. Hungary was no longer the same kingdom of its early glory, yet its ability to survive fragmentation proved that prosperity was not only about wealth or land, but about continuity of people and purpose. The 18th and 19th centuries marked another transformation, where Hungary moved from survival toward modernization. Within the Austro Hungarian dual monarchy formed in 1867, Hungary gained political recognition and a stronger voice in governance, while benefiting from industrial progress sweeping across Europe. Railways stretched across the countryside, factories rose beside rivers, and cities such as Budapest evolved into centers of culture, architecture, and innovation. Education expanded, literature flourished, and economic networks tied Hungary more closely to global trade. This era revived the image of a prosperous kingdom, not merely through military strength, but through intellectual growth, infrastructure, and national pride. Yet prosperity always carried complexity. Social tensions and political struggles simmered beneath the surface, reminding everyone that progress demanded balance.
As the world edged toward the upheavals of the 20th century, Hungary stood as a land shaped by repeated cycles of rise, fall, and renewal. Its story was never a straight line of victory or defeat, but a continuous rhythm of challenge and reinvention. The true prosperity of Hungary was not only measured in gold mines, grand buildings, or territorial reach, but in its enduring capacity to rebuild, adapt, and keep its identity alive despite centuries of trials. An enduring testament that a kingdom's greatest wealth is its ability to stand again every time history tries to bring it down.